friends, welcome to episode 159 of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. My name is Kalisha and you can find me anywhere online as the Dear Toni. I'm coming to you today from my home in Central Florida, and it has been probably over a month since my last podcast. So I woke up this morning and I felt like doing a video, so I quickly wrote down my notes and here we are. Today is Sunday, October 16th, and I've got quite the list of things to share with you guys. If you are a new viewer, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. This is a different angle of my outside sitting spot because my monstera is over here flourishing, and I just gave her a haircut like a couple weeks ago. So she's got a new leaf right there, and it's not as big as she has been putting out, so I feel like maybe she needs to be repot or something like that. But your girl is huge, and I don't think that I can repot her by myself anymore, so she just gonna have to thug it out. So yeah, I just wanted you guys to be able to see her while I'm filming. Yeah, it's been a while and I legitimately don't really remember what I say in this thing, so we're just gonna jump into bright spots. If the camera shakes, that's Kiva. She's walking around underneath the tripod, and Tootie is somewhere, hopefully in her own yard. Yes. Okay, she's being a good girl. You want to say hi, Kiva? Yeah? Okay. Before bright spots, we'll do a Kiva spot. Come here. Okay. Oh, there's my girl. Why are you so awkward? Say hello. The camera's over there, Kiva. There she is. The most regal beagle ever there was. Yes. Yes, old girl. So the last couple times Kiva has come up on Instagram, she wasn't feeling too good. She's back on the up and up. We had to take a little girl to the vet, so we've had quite a couple little vet bills because of this little puppy nugget, but I'm really glad that she is feeling better. I was very worried about her for quite a while. Lots of sleepless nights, lots of crying, because this dog has been in my life longer than my husband. So, yeah, she my girl. Am I boring you by pouring love all over you? Are you done? You done saying hello? You gonna go back out in the grass? You gonna go sit in the sun and sunbathe? Yeah. Oh yeah, we wanna go. Okay. There you go. You okay? Okay, bye-bye, old lady. Okay, bye. She's such a cutie. Bright spots. So that's one of my bright spots. Kiva is healthy again. We recently had to take her to the vet for a follow-up and get her, vaccinations, her rabies shot and all that good stuff. And she was very upset with me when we pulled up in the vet's parking lot. Like, she got out the car and was like, so yeah. But Tootie is up next. She's got to get her shots and stuff, and then hopefully the vet business will be over for quite a while. So my bright spot is that my pups are happy and healthy and back to their normal shenanigans. Other bright spots, we had one bright spot from the last episode. And bright spots, if you are new, is a section of the podcast where I share good things that have happened. So if you want to participate, you can just leave a comment in the comment section telling us about something good that happened in your life. It doesn't have to be something ginormous or anything, just anything that made you feel good on the inside, because I am completely team shared joy is double joy. You know what I mean? So anything good that has happened to you, share it in the comments down below, and then I pick a couple to share on the following episode. Hopefully the following episode will not be a month later, but you know, sometimes life be lifing. So we had one bright spot from last episode, and it is from it's either Sena, Sena, and Sena says, my bright spot is that my small local library is letting me host a monthly fiber arts group. This month is our first meeting, and I'm hoping to bring all the creative minds of our community together. I love that, and I wish that I could participate in the knitting and crochet classes that my library has, but they are always during working hours. They are not for people who have jobs. So there's that. But I really hope that your first meeting went well, and I hope that you're able to cultivate that fiber community meetup goodness in your area, because it always feels really good when you can meet with like-minded people or people that are into the same thing as you. So thumbs up for that, and again, I hope it went really well. I am already out of breath. Yes, I'm drinking coffee, and it has peppermint mocha creamer in it that had the Grinch on it. I will put a picture in right here. I went to Walmart to get, my normal regular coffee creamer, and picked up the one I wanted, and then I looked over to the side, and there were the Grinchy flavors, and they're not even different flavors or anything. They literally just put the Grinch on the outside of the packaging, and I'm like, yes, thank you, I'm here for it. Put down the regular flavor, pick up the peppermint mocha. It is the beginning of the Grinchiest time of the year, and I am very excited about it. So anyway, I don't know, I checked for Tootie. I stood up and she's laying in the front yard looking at me like, I'm still here. Good girl. Thank you. She's plotting her escape, I know it. So that is our bright spots, our intro bits, and we can get on to finished objects, which there is a huge list of them. You know how people say oh, I have an FO parade this time. That's me. I have an FO parade. There are 6 items, 6 bullets on my list, and one of those bullets has 3 items. So I've been a busy maker since you all have seen me last. So we will start out with the piece that has been getting the most wear since I finished it, and I have already started a second one. This is the Sweater Weather Cardi by TL Yarn Crafts, who is Toni Lipsey. This sweater right here. So last episode I was talking about how I wanted to make an orange sweater, in the spirit of Auntie Gigi of Gigi Made It, and this is that sweater. It has pockets, it has texture, it has long sleeves, it has shawl collar, thick cuffed, cozy, just ultimate cozy. Very excited. Anyway, so I really like this sweater. It took me probably a week to make. I did modify it. So let me see if I can, let me scoot over because I'll just put the picture in. So The original pattern is meant to be a long, like, duster length. So I think it goes almost down to the models, almost down to their knees, I want to say, as it's written. And I didn't want that. So I basically cut it in half. And the length is perfect on me. I am like over the moon with the fit of this sweater. The only thing that I didn't love, or that it's still kind of growing on me, is the size of the sleeves. I did the second size, and as I was like, when I finished it, the sleeves were a bit more fitted than I wanted them to be. So the next time I make this sweater, like I mentioned, I'm making one right now, I'm going to go, I think, either up 1 or 2 sleeve sizes, just so that I have more like breathing room, because as it is now, it's like 0 to a little bit of negative ease on my arms, and I don't really like that. So that's the only thing. So I modified the length. I made the pocket a little bit bigger, because the original pocket on the pattern is like just big enough to put your cell phone in, and I was like, nah girl, not over here, no. So I made it like big enough to put my hands in, and I just love how it came out. I used Red Heart Super Saber. This is the carrot colorway. And I did, like, they have those jumbo balls. This used almost 2 full balls. I have like a cake about like this big left of the second jumbo ball. Probably enough to make like a quick crochet beanie or something like that. But I love it. Because it is acrylic, after I finished it, finished all the seaming and everything, I ran it through a wash, like a wash and a dry, to kind of relax the fiber. And then I steamed the ribbing, the collar ribbing, just to like freeze it in place. So as you can, actually you can probably see, there's a lot more texture, like there's more ribbing texture on this part as compared to this part, which lays more flat. So this is the part that I steamed, and I did not steam down here. I just liked how this looked better in the after being steamed. So I will definitely do that again on my second version. Yeah, I love this sweater. I don't think, like, it's been a while since I have crocheted something like a garment and loved it this much, but I have worn it to work. I have worn it just because I'm awake. Like, it's so good. There is some pilling that's happening, and that's right here where my locks like brush against the sweater when I wear it. So I will be picking all of those pills off and pushing on with life. But that is the first finished object, and I'm gonna fold it up and sit on it because this bench is not like cushioned. Now I'm a little bit high. There we go. Okay, so the next finished object is it on my list? It is on my list. Is this. This is my Summer Secret Crop crochet version. The Summer Secret Crop is a knitted pattern designed by Jessie May Martinson, and I don't know, like a month and a half ago, I decided that I wanted a tank top, but I wanted to crochet it because I wanted it to be done fast, and then I didn't really finish it and let it languish. So anyway, so this is the top. What I did to convert it from knitting to crochet was I crocheted a swatch, and this is just double crochet. So I crocheted a swatch, like 4-inch square swatch, a 4-inch square swatch, measured it to see how many stitches per inch I was doing, and then using the schematic from Jessie Mae's pattern, converted all of those inch measurements to crochet stitches and crochet rows, and here we go. I had to do some edits because I did not trust my own math skills, and I ended up making it probably about 2 inches too wide. So I pinched the sides and just sewed them down on my sewing machine, so there's some bulk in the sides, whatever. But it fits pretty well. There it is. This, as you keep seeing me adjust the straps, because cotton stretches vertically. So as I'm wearing this is actually my first time wearing this top. As I'm wearing it, the straps are like relaxing and they're just kind of like sagging a little bit. So I've already shortened them in the back once, and I will definitely need to shorten them again, but I like it. I think if I made it again, I would definitely make it longer and not out of cotton. I don't enjoy crocheting with cotton, and I think this top has confirmed that. So this might be the last thing you see me crocheting out of cotton, y'all. Yeah, so ta-da. Next we have the, I think this one was in progress in last episode. This is the burgundy freestyle pullover that I was making. So it's just a raglan top, crocheted. I think I did double crochet again. Crochet pullover. So simple raglan shaping, simple body. The only like little detail is right before the ribbing, I did a row of, what is that, back post double crochet. Yeah, I did a whole row of back post double crochet, which created this ridge, and then I went into the crochet ribbing, which there's two ways that you can do crochet ribbing. You can do front post, back post, like this. So the ridges that you see standing up are your front posts, and then on the opposite side you have your back posts. And this ribbing is crocheted in the same direction as your main body crochet, so you can go straight into this type of ribbing. The other type of ribbing is back loop only, and that is the kind of ribbing that was used in this cardigan. This way, where you just crochet. These are single crochets in the back loop only. So you just do your single crochets in the back loop of the V. The top row of your crochet looks like a V. You crochet into that back loop only, and as you keep repeating that, it makes like a ribbing texture. This type of crochet ribbing runs, typically will run perpendicular to the direction of your crochet, except for in patterns like this where the whole thing is done like end to end. So I went from the bottom ribbing, crochet body, crochet body, crochet body, all the way back around to the bottom ribbing on the back side. So back loop only ribbing. Now the back loop only ribbing does look visually more like knitted ribbing, but it just takes so long. So I tend to use the front post, back post method for crocheted ribbing. That was a whole explanation that wasn't really asked for, but there you go. So I haven't worn this. I haven't even weaved in the ends, but I do need to run this through the wash because it is still, stiff or whatever. This yarn is, I think it's Lion brand. It's Heartland yarn. I forget which color the burgundy is, but there's only one burgundy in that line. But yeah, so once I weave in these ends, send it through the wash, it'll be ready to wear, and I will have another crochet piece to wear to work. Speaking of crochet pieces and wearing them to work, I have been putting more effort into wearing my handmade items to the office. And it has been like really, really cool, really fun to wear the things that I'm making. And it's also made me want to make more crochet and knitted garments to wear when I'm in the office. I work on campus on Wednesdays and Thursdays. The other days I work from home. But it's really cool to be able to wear all of my like handmade pieces, and people are like, oh, I like that sweater, that's cute, and I'm like, thanks, I made it. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, right, these hands, I made this. But yeah, so there's this piece, it is all done, and the next garment also does not have its ends woven in, and I still have all of my stitch markers on it from knitting the sleeves, but it's done. This sweater, this is my Hurricane Ian sweater. As you all probably know, a couple weeks ago, it was maybe, has it been a month? It may have been a month ago now. Hurricane Ian came through Florida, and we were incredibly blessed in my area, that in my immediate area we didn't have any flooding, no really bad storm damage or anything like that. We were out of power for a day, which is nothing compared to, you know, people that I know who were out of power for like a week. So I am entirely counting my blessings, but also, you know, knowing that other people didn't have it as smoothly as we did with Hurricane Ian. So what happened for us when the hurricane was, you know, getting close, my job closed down. So they closed everything. Everyone was to stay home so that you weren't like out in the streets on hurricane day, right? So our school was closed Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of like when the hurricane was supposed to come, and the hurricane actually like came through our area on like Wednesday night into Thursday. So what I do whenever we have like a bad hurricane situation where things are shutting down, what have you, I always start a project so that I have something like to consider, not to consider, something that's like to focus on, right? And my first hurricane project was a pair of socks that I made, and I think it was for, it actually came up in my time hop. It was like Hurricane Matthew, I think, maybe 6 years ago, something like that. And that one was, it was one of my first hurricanes, so I was like very stressed about it. And especially moving to Florida from Alabama, where we have tornadoes, and tornadoes are just like, surprise jerk, I'm here, I'm about to tear up everything, and then I'm out. So that's my windstorm mentality, like, oh my gosh, it's just gonna pop up out of nowhere, tear up everything, and then be gone. But that's not how hurricanes work. Hurricanes are like, I'm gonna be there next week and I'm gonna tear things up, just so you know. And so I tend to feel a lot of anxiety coming up to the storm, because it's like, okay, I know it's coming, but I don't know how it's gonna be. And like, you have all of the news channels are making all of these projections on how strong it's going to be, how much damage it's going to have, like all this and all that, and yeah, then you have my family who is not in Florida and has not experienced like these storms before, and they're all like, oh my gosh, you got to get out of there, evacuate, and I'm just like, so then I turn to like my husband and his family who's like from Florida, and I'm like, dude, do we need to board up the windows? And they're like, no, it's fine. And so I'm in between like super high anxiety and like not. And it's just a lot for Kalisha's mind. So I start projects, and it is the project that I work on throughout the hurricane time, you know, whatever's going on with that storm. So this was my project for Hurricane Ian, and I decided I wanted to knit a sweater. I had these 2 skeins of it's the value yarn from Michaels. I forget what it's called, something or another value. But I had 2 skeins of the tweed base, and decided I was going to make a sweater. And I had just, like, I had done all the numbers and everything for just a plain bottom-up sweater. Plain stockinette, no fancy. And then I was talking to one of my friends, like, on Tuesday night, and I kind of started thinking, oh, you know what? I should put, like, cables down the sleeve. And she was like, oh, that's a cool idea. And she goes, always be extra. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to put cables down the sleeve. And so I was going to have a full stockinette body and then cable down the middle of the sleeve. Cool. Then I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I had a cable down the sleeve and then also a cable down the side of the body? That would be cool. So that then changed to, okay, no cable on the sleeve. I'm just going to do a cable down the side of both sides of the body. So then so this is the cable that I did. I forget what kind of cable it's called. But that goes up the whole side of the body. And then when I got to the sleeves, I was like, you know what? It's a little bit boring. So then I decided to carry the cable up this part, so it splits in the front and the back. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want. So there she is. Completely, I feel like the colors are so ridiculous, but I really like it. And I kind of want to make it again in like one solid color, like, you know, a normal sweater. But yeah, so I ran out of yarn before I got to the neckline. I actually ran out of this purple yarn on the bind off, like that much of the bind off. You can see where it's a brighter yellow or brighter purple. Yeah, I ran out of the purple yarn right there. And then I had no more blue yarn left, so I then decided to see if I could find any more of this, and this yarn has already been clearanced out. It's not even available anymore. So I went through my stash and I found this navy blue yarn, which is not exactly the same color as this one, but because it's separated, you can't tell. So I love it, and I really like the way it fits. It's very comfy, and yeah, that's my Hurricane Ian sweater. And I started it Tuesday night, like doing all of the math, the gauge, you know, working out all of the shapes of the sweater that I would need, what the measurements would be if I did long sleeves as compared to short sleeves, how many rows I would need, how many cable rows, like all of the math and like the background of making the thing I was doing Tuesday night. And then I think I cast this on Wednesday morning and just worked on it throughout the hurricane time, and I finished it Sunday night, and then of course had to go back to work on Monday. But so this was my entire project for Hurricane Ian, and I really hope that we're done with hurricanes, because they be stressing me out, you know. But oh my goodness, I'm so grateful that we didn't have like damage and stuff. I think the worst that happened at our house was some tree branches fell in the backyard, but all of my outside plants, we put them all in the garage, which is why the Monstera got a haircut, because when I pulled her out of her spot, I was like, bro, you are too big, entirely too big. So I had to cut her back. But yeah. Oh my goodness. Entirely counting my blessings. Mother Nature be snapping. My sweater. So the next finished object that I have, I know, right? We're still going on finished objects. The next finished object I have is a beanie. So I occasionally, like, if ever you hear me talking about how I want to make a beanie, like, I want to make fitted beanies, right? But because I have so much hair, I typically will make tams or slouchy beanie styles. And like sometimes I just want to have, like, you know, like a fitted folded brim beanie, you know, and I want to not look like a mushroom is what I say, because a lot of times when I put on a beanie, if it has a brim, the beanie, like the part on my head will be like rounded like this because of my hair, and then the part like the ribbing will pull in, so the shape of the hat on my head will be like this and then like come out, and I'm not about that. Like I do not want that look. So I a couple weeks ago was at a yarn shop with one of my friends. I'll tell you about later. We were at a yarn shop and I was talking about it, and one of the ladies in the yarn shop was like, oh, just make like a really long brim and fold it, because then your brim will be thicker to accommodate the like poof out of the top of the hat. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense, especially since I do have a folded brim beanie that looks good with my hair. And like, I don't know why, I just never really clicked in my brain that that's what I needed to do to have a beanie that fits the way I wanted it to. So I took that idea and I took a skein of yarn. I've been on the tweed boat recently, guys. But this is Big Twist from Joann's. Big Twist, I think it's just called Big Twist Value Tweed or something like that. But this is the colorway Plum, which, fun fact, I thought this was brown. It is not. It is definitely purple, but the lighting, like when I looked at it in the store, I thought it was like an ashy brown. Then I brought it home, and I'm the only one in my house that wants like white light, like daylight light bulbs. Everybody else is like, oh, we like soft white, and that's yellow. So when you take this like ashy purple brown and you put it under yellowish light, it looks brown. So your girl thought this was brown, right up until I saw an actual brown from the same yarn, and I was like, bro, that's purple. And then also when you take it outside, it looks purple. So there's that. Color temperature or light temperature makes a difference. So anyway, I started freestyling up a hat pattern, or not a hat pattern, like a folded beanie, a folded brim beanie for me to wear. So this was the first version where I did half double crochet in the back loop only for the ribbing. So this ribbing was worked this way all the way around and then joined, and then I worked a row of half double crochets around the edge so that then I could work the hat this way. So I really like this texture pattern. I made this after the sweater weather Cardi, so I was really on like that texture kick. Like I just want texture. So I got this one from one of the mini crochet stitch dictionaries that I have, and yeah, so this is what the first version looked like. I guess I'll take my hair down and show you guys. Okay, so big hair Kalisha. All right, this is the first version. Oh my gosh, my hair is so hot. So as you can see, it's just a nice curve, but like, this is what I wanted to avoid. Like, can I see through the stitches? This is ridiculous, Felicia. So you can see right here where my hair starts and it's kind of dented in and then it comes out a little bit. Like, that's what I didn't want to see. It annoys me to no end. And I feel like it's one of those things that nobody else would notice except for me. So this is the hat, the first version of the hat, but I thought that the brim was too big because, like, from the front, all you see is brim. So I made another one. And this one, the brim is, I think, 10 stitches narrower. So it looks like this. No, not like that. Yeah, so it's a little bit narrower, and so it lets you see more of the texture of the hat, and not so much only cuff, right? So I really like the way that it fits with my hair. I'm really in love with this, and ooh girl, that's hot. So then I made a third one, because why not? But also I wanted to see what it would look like in a solid color, to really see the texture. So there it is. I really like it. The only thing with this hat, like, I showed my mom and she's immediately like, oh, are you gonna make that a pattern for sale? And the only thing that I want to work out, or that I still have to work through, is the decreases, because I just kind of winged them, and I would like it not to be winged if I was like putting this pattern out. But I like where it's going. I like how it's fitting. Like, as soon as it gets a little bit cooler in Florida, I will be wearing this, like this and this one. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this one because it's huge. I might send it to my brother, but if I do that, I have to make another one because I have two brothers. Must be fair. So those are my finished big hair beanies. I don't know what they're gonna be called, but right now their working title is the big hair beanie. But I just love how it fits on my locks. Like, I can wear a beanie like other folks. Just makes me feel so good on the inside. So yeah. Whew. Well, guess hair is staying down for the rest of this episode because I don't feel like putting it back up. Alright, so that brings us to the end of all of the finished objects. We made it through. So all of that got done, and our works in progress section is like this long. So as I mentioned earlier when I was talking about my sweater weather cardigan, I am making a second one. And this is the color. It is bright red for my mother. Her favorite color is red. And as soon as she saw my sweater, she was like, oh man, it would be so nice if I could have one of those. Can you make me one? And I was like, well, I will have to submit that request to management and see what they say. So of course I'm making my mom one. She is one of the most crochet worthy, knit worthy people that I know, and she really appreciates the items that I make for her, and she takes care of them, which makes me feel good. So yeah, this is gonna be so bright. Like, I sent her the three red colors. This is still Red Heart Super Saver. I sent her the three reds that they have in their range, And I thought that she would pick like the middle one because it's kind of like a darker red, but not burgundy, but also not like candy cane red. And she was like, I want the bright one. So I said, you just about to be out here looking straight up like Santa Claus. And she said, yes. So I said, okay, Santa Claus it is. But yeah, so as you can see, it's worked this way. So you start off with your stitches of the ribbing, then you work the body stitches, and then you end on the other side with the stitches of the ribbing. So I'm basically making a scarf right now, and then after I finish this part, it's made in 2 sections. You seam them together, all that good stuff. But I definitely recommend the pattern. It's very well written. Like, one thing about Toni's patterns, her designs are very classic. They're very like everyday wear, which I love, because one of the things that I see a lot when people are like talking about crochet garments, or like wearing crochet garments, a lot of them tend to look really like, I want to say, they look really, what is the word? Like you can't wear them all the time. Like you couldn't, like, I mean you could. Like if I made myself a multicolor granny square sweater, right? I can't wear that every single day, right? Like it's like an occasion when I wear it. Like, but if I have a, you know, like a neutral color textured sweater, I could easily wear that every day. It feels like it feels more like easier to mix in with like your ready to wear clothes, whereas some of the other crochet designs, like specifically like if they have granny squares in them, because granny squares are so iconic in themselves, they feel more standalone. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm not gonna make granny square things because I love making granny squares, but I also am like, I feel like I wouldn't be able to wear that like to the office both days, you know? Maybe that doesn't make any sense, but whatever. I'm here for wearing your crochet, wearing your knit out in the street whenever, because handmade all day. Like I want more handmade like garments in my wardrobe, so just be ready for that. So that is a work in progress, and then this is my other work in progress that has been on the needles since the beginning of September. This will be my pair of nightmare socks. This colorway, the sparkly blue, is Even Nightmares Can Dream, and then this sparkly gray is the mini that came with it. This yarn is by Cinematic Skeins, and I love it. So I'm making 2 at a time socks. What are they called? 2 at a time afterthought socks. So you start with a toe, you knit an entire tube, you knit another toe. You find the middle, you mark the middle row, insert a needle above on both sides. Insert a needle above the middle row and below the middle row. Snip a stitch on the front, snip a stitch on the back, and separate them. Then you knit the cuff. Then you go back and find your heel placement, put in your needles for an afterthought heel, snip a stitch, open up the heel, knit the heel. Pair of socks. So I like to knit socks like this when I have a skein of yarn or a ball of yarn that I want to use the entire ball without having to split it in half ahead of time, because even if you weigh out the yarn, there's not really a way to perfectly split the ball of yarn. You know what I mean? So I like doing it this way because then I could just count, and I've used up all of the main color and will hopefully not have any leftovers, especially since I'm going to do the toes, heels, and cuffs out of that secondary skein. This is how much I have left. And after I said all of that about knitting the socks so that I have nothing left over, I have counted my typical rows for a sock. So typically after my toe, I do 72 rows for my foot, then I have my heel placement, and then I do 60 rows for the cuff or the leg, and then I do 20 rows for the cuff. So counting all of those numbers, this is where we are. So now I'm basically knitting the foot of the second sock, and I have all of this. I feel like I'm gonna have quite a bit left over. I don't know, maybe I'm misjudging it, I'm not sure, but I might end up with long socks. And I don't know how I feel about that. 60 rows is the longest that I currently do. I think when I first started knitting socks, I did some that were 80 rows long, like in the leg, and that was just too long. But I'm ready for these to be done so that I can do something else. But I do love this yarn. I love the way that all of the colors are dispersed in there. There's no flashing, there's no pooling or anything. It's very pretty. And that sparkle is just good. So yes, Nightmare socks, still on the go, still on the go. Okay. Next up, we have Kalisha and the Babe. I don't have anything for maker plans just because I really just want to focus on getting my mom's sweater done and the socks done. So I'm not trying to put anything else on my plate to distract me from the matters at hand. So Kalisha and the Babe. I have quite a bit of spinning updates to give you. So first, I will show you my spinning finished objects. And then we'll talk about some new tools and some new fiber and go from there. So here are my finished spins. Now, fun fact, not fun fact, funny story. I was all like I got gung-ho about spinning. Just like, yes, we're gonna spin all of these minis. A few years ago, I had gotten a packet of Rolags they were sent to me from Debbie, the Canadian crocheter, and she got them from the Spinning Spider. So I can't remember how many were in the pack originally, but I think this is all of them. Minus one, I think. Yeah, this is all of them minus one. And I spun them all, and I was just, spinning. I spun them end to end, and then I went back and separated each one of them, and then two-plied each one on itself, so I have each of them together. Then, thanks to one of my new spinning tools, I realized that all of these I spun backwards. And not that it's a bad thing, because what I have created is a pile of Z-twist yarn, which is best for crocheters. So, happy accident. So these are the different colors. Okay, y'all just want to be friends? Okay, so we have this one. This one came out to be 16 yards. this one at 21 yards, 24 yards, 10 yards, 14 yards, 19 yards, and 21 and a half yards. So I want to put all of these in one project, of course, since they're all Z-twist, and since they were all spun relatively at the same time, they're very similar in their weight. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with them, but I want to do something with them together. Then after these, I spun this. This is, I think it's also Z-twist, isn't it? Yeah. This came up to be 61 yards, and this is a couple years ago I did a advent calendar swap with Heather of Bunnyfish Crafts, and she had sent me some, at least I think it was in the advent swap that we did. Anyway, I ended up getting some fiber from her because she had a braid of Frabjous Fibers, I think. Yeah, Frabjous Fibers in their BFL, and this was their patina colorway, and that braid or that colorway has yellow, blue, and green in it, and she didn't like the yellow part, so she separated out all of the yellow bits and sent to me. So what I ended up with were pieces of fiber that had mostly yellow, and then on the edges were like green and blue. So I blended it on my blending board, and it came out to this beautiful greenish yellowy hints of blue color. Like, I love it. So I have 61 yards of this, so I don't know if I'm just gonna put them all together and do something, or what is gonna happen with that. But all of these are Z-twist. Then this, is this Z-twist too? Probably. Yeah. So obviously, like, I had my spinning method stuck in my head, so literally everything I spun around the same time was accidentally Z-twisted. This is fiber from Spinjitsu, and this came up to be 49 yards, and it was 1.2 ounces. It includes merino, alpaca, pulled silk, add-ins, and Angelina, and the colorway is called Into the Forest 2. I can't remember if I showed this to you guys already, but that's how it came out. It's like really, really dark, mysterious forest vibes. So it doesn't really go with these because these are all very light. So I'm not sure. Maybe I'll put it in a weaving. I don't know. It's spun and it's done. So these I think might live together. This one is going to be something on its own. But those are all of my finished spins for recently. I do currently have some fiber on my babe. And it is fiber by Mirla Fibers. And I will show it to you in just a second. Get in there. Okay. This is the fiber that's currently on my wheel. And I bought this last year or the year before that because I wanted something green, and the little specks of red that are in here was just, I was like, oh, I can do that for Grinchmas, because it's like the Grinch and then Santa, you know, I see the Grinch everywhere, and I am not ashamed. So this was originally 2 ounces, and it is a mix of superfine merino, sari silk, Firestar, bio nylon, and bamboo. So this is what I'm currently spinning. I have split it in half. The way that this yarn was prepared was just in like a long strip of roving like this. So I folded it in half, pulled it apart, and then each one of the halves I think I split down the middle. No, I folded those in half and split those in half. So I'm going to have another 2-ply. Typically all I do is 2-plies, because the one time I attempted a 3-ply using like the chain ply method, it came out way overspun. So I'm not ready to practice that again yet. So I'm just living my 2-ply life. But yeah, so this is what's currently on my wheel. Those are what have just come off of the wheel, and I have one more spin to show you. So this is how I discovered that everything I had been spinning was Z-twisted, because I spun this on my new, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. It's an eel wheel nano, and huge, ginormous, monstrous thank yous to, I think it's Selenisserius. I can see it in my head, but I've never heard it out loud. But in my last, I think it was my last episode or the one before that, I was talking about fixing my babe spinning wheel, and like things I was thinking about that, how I was thinking about saving up to get a conversion kit for the babe to change it from a single treadle to a double treadle, and then also thinking about starting to save for an electric spinner, an e-spinner. And after that episode, she reached out to me and she was like, hey, I have an e-spinner that you can have if you want. And I was like, oh my gosh. So she so kindly gifted this to me, and I immediately watched an incredible number of tutorials on YouTube. So I've been trying to learn this. In trying to learn this, I have learned new things about my babe wheel. For instance, this wheel, I think it's a Scotch tension that it uses. So the tension band, which is right here, the break band, is on the bobbin and not on the flyer. Yes, but on my babe wheel, the break band is on the flyer and not the bobbin. So it's a completely different way of understanding tension and uptake and all that stuff when going between the two methods. But I guess in the end, it's kind of the same. So it's like PCs and Macs. You've got a computer both ways. They just function slightly differently. But yeah, so I was able to successfully spin this on my new e-spinner. So I'm just like, there are so many opportunities for doing stuff now. Like there is a car adapter where you can plug it into your car and spin. So like the next time Lamar and I go on a road trip, is your girl gonna be spinning in the car? Quite possibly. But I still need to practice the whole tensioning and actually spinning with this thing, because the learning curve, y'all, the learning curve it's real. So I'm gonna continue practicing. Thank you so much, Selenisserius, for sharing this with me, for sending this to me, and allowing me to broaden my fibery world. So sometimes I'm just, not even sometimes, all the time, I'm always mind blown by the kindness and generosity that I have seen in this community. So many times people have been like, oh, I have this thing that I'm not using, it's just gathering dust, I can send it to you. Or I have this yarn that I'm trying to get, I'm not using it, So can I send it to you, and then I'm able to share that yarn with you guys? Like, every so often I'm thinking like, bro, I need to host more like alongs or giveaways or something like that, just so that I can share the like yarny things that come into my life, so that I can share it with you guys and not just have it just stacking up in the house, because I can only knit and crochet so fast. But I'm so grateful. Like, I have things like little prize packages already starting to get set up for the Mr. Grinch Mal. So just get yourselves ready. Get yourselves ready, because it's coming. So, but the next thing I have to share with you guys in Kalisha and the Babe is a tool that I made. So when you're spinning, right? So you spin all of your fiber into a single. So you have a single strand of fiber. If you want to go back and ply it, you have to take that single, well, you don't have to, but most of the time you have to take the single off of the bobbin that it's on in order to be able to ply it again, or to ply it. So I like doing 2 plies, like I mentioned. So typically what I have done is I will take the single off of the bobbin by wrapping it around my hand, like in a plying bracelet. So that basically creates loops of fiber around my fingers, which will allow me to do a center pull situation with the beginning and end of that yarn, and it pulls off of my hand without tangling. The only problem with that is, try as I might to wrap it like loosely around my fingers, by the time I get to the end of the fiber, my hand is like this all the time, and it's very uncomfortable. Actually, it's more like this. Very uncomfortable. And so I was brainstorming, and I was like, there has to be a tool for this, because what if I needed to wrap more than, this much? Because this is what I was wrapping when I decided I needed to make this tool. So I basically wrapped 122 yards of singles around my hand. My hand was like this, all crunched up. Yeah. So I sat there looking at my hand, and then I Googled to see if this thing existed. And there are wooden tools that replicate the shape of your thumb, pinky, and middle finger, and like wrist, because of the way that you have to wrap the strand around. So I looked at that, stared at my hand for a while, did some doodles, went to, where did I go? Home Depot, and came up with this. So basically, it is my middle finger, and then my thumb and my pinky, and the wrist. So the way that you wrap a plying bracelet is you go hold on, let me try to remember. Okay, so I attach like the end to my bracelet here so that it's secured, and then you wrap around the back of your hand, around your middle finger. Wait. I have to do the motion to try to remember. So you go around your middle finger, around the back of your hand, around the thumb, around the middle finger again in the front, around the back of your hand, around the pinky, then around the middle finger in the front. So you're basically doing a loop around the middle finger in the front, going around the back of your hand, and then doing a loop around the middle finger on the other side. So your thumb and your pinky are basically anchoring that back strand so that it doesn't slip off this way. But then your middle finger is the part, like the anchor part, that you're wrapping around, which is why as it gets tighter, my middle finger gets pulled down like this. Not comfortable for anybody involved. So I then, for this, and I tested it, I tape the yarn, like the strand, to the base, and then I can wrap around the middle finger, around the back, loop it, like hook up this way, around the middle finger. Why am I holding this so awkwardly? Middle finger, back, up, middle finger, back, up, middle finger. So I'm just going back and forth like this, right? And then all I have to do is pull off this little cap, slide the whole thing off, and I have a loop. Then I can put that loop on my wrist and spin. I'm so excited. So I haven't used it like in earnest. So once I get this spun up, actually I won't even have to use it for this because I've already split this in half. So I'll spin one half onto one bobbin, the other half onto another bobbin, and then ply it onto a third. Oh my gosh, it's a snake. Hello, snake. Stay over there and mind your business, please. Florida. But the next time I do a spin where the whole amount of fiber is spun onto one bobbin, I will use this, and hopefully it works as delightfully as I expect it to, because creating a flying bracelet around my wrist is just not what I really want to keep doing. So, ta-da! My gosh. Y'all, remind me not to go this long without podcasting because I've been talking for entirely too long. Now I keep glancing over there like, is that snake about to come out and get me? It was a teeny tiny little snake. I wouldn't have even noticed it if I didn't hear it. That's everything for Kalisha and the Babe. Let's talk about plant mama life and whatnot. As you can imagine, there has been life over the last, month and change. I think it's been a month and change since I last updated. Plant mama life centric. I wore my Trelawney top out, which is the Plant Mama sweater. The Trelawney top is a pattern by Tamy Gore, and I wore it to the last plant swap. I got lots of compliments on it when people realized that it was like leaves on the sweater. And I was super excited to discover that I can wear non-superwash wool and it not itch me to death. So that was delightful. It was very comfortable. I had a good time at the swap. Another thing that I did on swap day was I got another stem for my pencil cactus. So I'll put in a picture of my pencil cactus here. I think it actually might be a video of the pencil cactus and the new stem that I got. But my pencil cactus, my existing one, is going off. Like, it's such a weird looking plant and I love it. So the new stem, as soon as it gets rooted up and everything, I'm going to, I want to put it in the pot with my existing pencil cactus, but I think the pot might be too small actually. So I might have to move everybody up to a bigger pot. But that's really great. I already told you guys about my plants and the hurricane. They did all right being in the garage for like 3-4 days, and now everybody's back out on the porch where they're supposed to be. Another thing from the swap that I'm super excited about is I got cuttings of a plant called Queen of the Night, and that is a night blooming cactus, and the blooms are gorgeous. Evidently there are a couple of them like loose There's a couple of them around town, like just like on trees or whatever like that. But then there's also a big one that's at our botanical gardens. And when it's time for them to bloom, it's like a big deal. Like there's an event that they advertise for so that you can come and see the blooms of this cactus, because evidently they are that impressive. And I've seen pictures of them online, and I will 100% be looking out for the next time that these cacti bloom so that I can go see them in real life. But someone had put cuttings of it on the free table at the plant swap, so I grabbed some and I have them rooting. So hopefully I will have my own Queen of the Night cactus babies soon. I'm excited about that. So I'm just having a lot of fun with my plants. I think my collection is to a place where I'm not looking for new plants to add to it. Especially when I go to the swap. I'm looking for cuttings of my existing plants to kind of like fill out the pots that I have. And it's been a good time. It's been a really good time. And like I'm making planty friends now, which is like wild. But I'm really enjoying my plant mama life. So regular life and whatnot, as I mentioned earlier, I had gone to a yarn shop with one of my friends, and that friend was Akira of the Knitting Annihilator podcast. She and her family came to Florida. It was actually Hurricane Week that they were here. They came to Florida for a vacation, and I felt so bad because like halfway into their vacation it was like, surprise, Hurricane Ian's coming. So I hope that they were able to have a good time in the time that they could while they were here. But on the Sunday that she was here, I drove down and picked her up, and we went to the Four Pearls yarn shop and just had a good time hanging out, talking and knitting. And we bought yarn for to do like a knit along with us. I think we're gonna do it in November, but we're going to do the All That Tea by Shanakay Salmon, and we both got green yarn. Hers is gonna be light green with a dark green trim, and mine is going to be dark green with a light green trim, I think. Hold on. I have the yarn here. Yes, mine is going to be dark green with a light green trim, and hers is light green with a dark green trim. She bought this bag and gifted it to me. All things spacey. Thank you so much, girl. Like, but this is the yarn that I'm going to be using for mine. It is the Barocco Remix Light. There we go. Hello. So this is going to be my main color, and this is going to be my contrast. And hers is, she got Emma's yarn, and I forget the colorways that she picked up, but they're really pretty. So I'm excited for when we get to start that. And yeah, I'm gonna have a knit along with my homie. And it was so cool when we met each other. It was like the first time that we had seen each other in real life. But I mean, I just picking up my homegirl, right? Like, we already know each other basically from interacting across our videos, sending messages back and forth, chatting online and stuff. So like, it wasn't like I was meeting somebody new, you know? Like, that whole nervous awkwardness of talking to a new person wasn't there, because we have been like friends for a couple years now. And so it was just like, we're friends that just haven't like breathed the same air at the same time, right? Like, so I'm definitely, internet friends are real friends. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care. So we're going to be doing that in November. So if you would like to also knit a all that tee, you're welcome to knit an all that tee with us. Akira, should we do a hashtag? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Y'all will hear more things. But speaking of green things and November, the Mr. Grinch mail is coming up again. I think that starts November 15th. I might start at November 1st, just so that we have like 2 entire months of Mr. Grinch mailing that we can do. But yeah. And then Vlogmas is coming up. I've already started thinking about what I want to do for Vlogmas. I need to figure out what my intro is going to be. Because honestly, last year's intro was just, I loved it so much. It was so ridiculous. It was so perfect. I almost feel like using that same one again and just letting that be my Vlogmas intro. Like, I'll put it in here if I can find a clip of just the intro. But yeah, so I'm thinking about Vlogmas. I want to put together a like December wishful bucket list thing, because I completely understand that I'm not going to be able to do all the things that I want to do excuse me, for like during the month of December, because your girl works a full-time job. But that doesn't mean that I can't be very intentional about creating and documenting moments and memories and stuff, right? Because like one of the things that Lamar always says to me, like whenever we're somewhere and I'm vlogging, he's always like, oh man, why don't you, like, why are you always vlogging? Like, just be in the moment. And I want, like, I have a terrible memory. Okay, let me rephrase that, because Lamar does not think I have a terrible memory. I selectively have a terrible memory. There are certain things that I remember in great detail. Other things, gone. So, and I never know what those things are going to be that are just like, my brain just throws out the window, like, we don't need that. So just having the ability to vlog these moments or vlog these events or these times and then be able to go back and look at it. Like, I go back and I rewatch my own Vlogmas videos just so that I can remember the random things that I did during the month of December 3 years ago. And it's so, and it's like reliving those experiences, like, so good. Like, there was one, I think it was the very first Vlogmas that I did, where I had gone back home to Delaware with the intention of surprising my best friend for her son's first birthday, because, you know, Florida to Delaware is a long trip, it's expensive, you know, and she didn't think I was going to be able to make it, but I was able to work it out so that I could go and be there. And since I was doing Vlogmas, I have that entire exchange on video, you know, like sneaking into the church and like walking in and not saying anything, and seeing all of her family members, because her back was to the door, seeing all of her family members see me before she did, and then I have her whole reaction, like seeing me, and it was just being able to go back and look on those memories is so awesome. And even like little things, you know, little moments at work or just random stuff like that that I capture and that I record and I'm putting in these videos. For me, going back on that, it's just, it is special for me. And while I know that I'm not going to be able to do a whole lot of things that I want to do, like festivity wise, I still like making the lists of things that I would like to do, so that I can try to incorporate those whenever I can, just to be more present. And then that's also something that I would love to figure a way to incorporate in my daily life, being more present and more conscious of the things that are happening and more intentional in doing things. But intentionality is a lot of work, y'all. So I'm preparing to be more intentional in December as we are halfway through October. So all that to say, Vlogmas 2022 is coming. If you somehow don't know what Vlogmas is, because not everybody knows, Vlogmas is a vlog every day in December. So most people will do every day from December 1st to Christmas, but I also go from December 1st to January 1st because I incorporate Kwanzaa after Christmas. And this year I kind of feel like I might do some pre-December vlogs, because we're going to go see the Grinch Ice at Gaylord Palms Hotel. I don't even know what it is, but my friend sent me a message and was like, you might like this. And I looked at it and bought tickets. So I don't know if it's Grinchy ice sculptures or if it's like, I don't know, but I'm going. And that's like the day before Thanksgiving. So let the Grinchiness begin. And, as witnessed by the Grinchy coffee creamer that I currently own, the Grinchiness has already begun in Quirky Monday headquarters. Like, I bought a 4-foot Grinch toy the other day, and he's currently sitting in my room, and I'm completely unashamed of that. Like, my husband got home and on the day that I bought him, and he was not even surprised. He was just like he knew what the deal was. He knew that was going to come home with me eventually. He probably didn't know it was going to come home with me like the day after I found it, but I am a Grinch lover, if you did not know. So thank you so much for being a part of my universe. Thank you for hanging around. I'm gonna try to do better with my podcasting, but send me podcast energy vibes. That's what we need. But yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of my universe, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye, friends.